David S. Pumpkin. Question? Yes, ma'am. Number 6. 4x cubed minus 20x plus 16.
Can you explain that?
So what did we say? 4x cubed minus 20x plus 16. Okay. Did you narrow it down using a graphing calculator? So it was 4x cubed. Then what was it? Minus 20x? Plus 16. Okay. So that's going to tell me that looks like 1 for sure works. 3 halves and negative 5 halves ish. But that one I'm not so sure about because 16 doesn't have any factors of 5. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't necessarily go on that one. But let's for sure go on 1. Okay? Because that one we know. So we know that 1's going to work out. So 4, 0, negative 20, and positive 16. 4, 4, 4, 4, negative 16, negative 16, 0. Right? So f of x is now x minus 1 times 4x squared plus 4x minus 16. Right? Right? Yeah. Okay. Factor of 4 out. Right? Not factorable, that trinomial. Okay? So let's go right to then our zeros. Yep. One minus 4 times 1 times negative 4 all over 2. So that's negative 1 plus minus 1 plus 16 all over 2. So that's going to be negative 1 plus minus the square root of 17 all over 2. So it's probably good that we didn't use 3 halves or negative 5 halves there because it wouldn't have worked out. Okay? Now, are those two real? Yes. Okay? They're not nice, but they're still real because there's no i's in them. So then my answers are 1 and negative 1 plus minus the square root of 17 all over 2. Yes, ma'am.
Did you have to reduce it before starting calculating?
No.
So if you didn't reduce it,
You would have a reduction here before you give the answer. But you would have to reduce your answer. Yep.
if we just well, I did that, but then when I just if you just did the 0, finding the zeros on the calculator and wrote those numbers down, would that be wrong?
Yes. Because you didn't show any work. Same style. I mean, I'm not gonna. There's only what 8 total homework problems. You know. Okay. Yeah. So don't forget, 1 week from today is what? Your summative test. Yep. Okay. Alright. So go for it. All the real zeros. Alright, so since most of you did it synthetic division way, I'm going to do this problem 2 different ways. Okay? So the first way I'm going to do it is not going to be the synthetic division way. Okay? Because you can do this by grouping. Okay? So if I do this problem by grouping, I can first take out an x squared, and that leaves me with x minus 2. And then I can take out a 1, and that leaves me with x minus 2. And then I can take out the x minus 2, and that leaves me with x squared plus 1. Now, if I set that equal to 0 all the way through, then I can say that x minus 2 equals 0, and x squared plus 1 equals 0, giving me x equals 2, and x squared equals negative 1, which then gives me x is equal to plus or minus I. Okay? Now, you guys did it by finding your list first. Okay? So let's find our list. So our list is plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. That's my list of 4 possible zeros. I would prefer that you just give me the whole list, because then that way you're following the same process every single time. Okay? Right? But if you didn't on this one, that's okay. Okay? All right? And then if you would go to the calculator, you would see that 2, it crosses at 2. Okay? Or if you did it by grouping, so let's start with 2, then 1, negative 2, 1, negative 2. 1, 2, 0, 0, 1, 2, 0. Okay? So that tells me then that 2 is in fact a 0. So f of x then could be x minus 2. Okay? And then, Andrew, this is where your question came in. So then what's left over is x squared plus 0x plus 1. Okay? So we're there. And then we're basically in the same spot again, because then now x minus 2 equals 0, so x equals 2, and x squared plus 1 equals 0, so x squared equals negative 1, so x equals plus or minus I. So my answers here are 2 and plus or minus I, because it asked for all zeros. It didn't say all reals, it asked for all of them. Okay? Good? Questions on that? Love it. Do it. Aww. So since it's to the 4th one, then we can't group it. So my zeros, my list is 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18, correct? Okay. Somebody that graphed it, what was one of them that worked out? 2? Negative 1 and 2? Okay. So, since negative 1 and 2 worked, negative 1, 7, negative 9, negative 18. 1, negative 1, negative 2, 2, 9, negative 9, negative 18, positive 18, and 0. So now f of x is x plus 1 times x cubed minus 2x squared plus 9x minus 18, right? Then we also said from the graph that 2 worked. One, 2, 0, 0, 9, 18, 0. So now f of x is x plus 1 times x minus 2 times x squared plus 9. Okay. Notice, I've been noticing a lot of this for a couple of weeks now, and again I will remind you that this x plus 1 comes along for the remainder of that ride. Okay? It doesn't just go away. It comes along all the way through. And then if we could factor x squared plus 9, then both x plus 1 and x minus 2 would come along for the remainder of the ride. Okay? In this case, though, that is not possible. So x plus 1 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0, x squared plus 9 equals 0. So x is equal to negative 1, x is equal to 2. Those are the two that you guys found on the graph. X squared plus 9 means that x squared equals negative 9, which means x equals plus or minus 3i. We're taking the square root of a negative number. This was an all zeros case. Whoa. So because it was an all zeros case, then my answers are negative 1, positive 2, and plus or minus 3i. Okay? Here's the scary thing. Guess what tomorrow is? It's November tomorrow. I know. I'm listening.
On the last one, if you started with the synthetic division with the 2 out front, would that matter as long as you did the correct order?
Your numbers would just be different. But so what you're saying is on this one. So if you would have done the 2 right here, then these numbers would be a little different.
And then you just
Okay, but then you do the -1, and then this line then becomes the same. Okay.
So like the overall the end result is the same, so it doesn't matter.
Yep. 2 different ways to get to Mosinee. You still end up at Mosinee. Okay, but you didn't necessarily go the same way to get there.